we're commanded, we're exhorted, we're encouraged to use social media to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's a new venue for me. I'm probably a lot older. I have a son that's 22. I don't know how old you are. You look really young, like in your 20s.
Yeah, I'm 30.
Oh, you are. You look like you're going to live to be about 150 then.
Our channel began in 2020, but I would say that the path I was on to begin a channel started when I was very, very young. I grew up in this really interesting family situation and became something of a young activist. It was like a cause that I fought for. The greatest cause I fought for was the cause of Christ, missionary work. It's something I learned from my dad, especially. He's just very, very passionate. When Spencer W. Kimball was saying, oh, we're going to flood the earth with the Book of Mormon, my dad took a Book of Mormon to every single one of his neighbors for like 3 different streets. 10 people ended up getting baptized.
Did you say when Ezra Taft Benson?
Yeah, Ezra Taft Benson.
Yeah.
I wasn't around.
No, it's fine because I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Go ahead.
I went on my mission to Brazil where I encountered this exciting, fast-paced style of missionary work. I had this foundational excitement for missionary work from my dad. And then I got to Brazil and I was just unleashed. And when I came home from my mission, I came back a little bit early, actually. I had a rare nerve condition that occurred while I was a missionary. I came home about 3 months early and my dad said, you still got 3 months. And I was like, yeah, let's get to work. We invited tons of people to come to church, to get baptized. And we saw incredible miracles take place.
Were you still set apart at the time? They didn't release you yet?
No, they released me.
They released you, but your father's like, hey, you've got 3 months. Let's finish this term out.
And it's tough because at that point I had pain in both my hands, both my shoulders, and both my feet. So I was really debilitated, but we saw some really amazing results. We had some friends baptized. We had 90 people attend my homecoming talk. And I attribute so much of that to my dad and his tenacity and his drive to keep me going. To just keep working when you come home is the perfect transition for a missionary. You just feel lost a little bit when you come home. And I just never let go of the mission. And I just decided, I'll just work another month and then another month. And I just held on to that. It was fascinating to me because I realized when I came home into Seattle, the same reasons people hesitate to follow Jesus Christ and get baptized.
I left on my mission from Seattle.
Oh, that's amazing.
In 1992 from Kent.
Oh, Kent. Yeah, I have cousins who live in Auburn.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. I realized that the same reasons people hesitate to follow Jesus Christ in Brazil are the same reasons people hesitate here. And so I went into advertising, and that journey took me to New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles again. And everywhere I go, the reasons people hesitate to follow Jesus Christ are universal. So why can't the miracles that happen in Brazil happen here? I would get into a new place and I would connect with the missionaries and we would work. And I realized if we could create momentum, we could increase baptisms wherever I served, right? Because I was working in advertising. And then after 7 years of serving the Lord in this way, just continuing being a missionary essentially, but now in more of a supportive role, passing on what I know and almost a mentorship with missionaries, because initially I was really passionate about the user experience for people coming into the church. I learned in Brazil how to really enhance that experience and help the people coming into the gospel to have a positive experience and to overcome their challenges in order to take that step of being baptized. And I wasn't afraid to invite for baptism, often on the first visit. I love it. I love helping people to set a goal with God, that they can chase that goal and work towards that goal, put their trust in the Lord. Caring so much about that user experience forced me to work with missionaries. And over time, I realized that my role has transitioned into, at first I was serving the people, and now in many ways, I serve the missionaries. And that evolution brought me to now running my channel where I serve the youth. My ultimate goal is to prove that anything is possible. You can baptize anywhere in the world. You can have miracles. You can bring thousands of people into Christ. And I know because what I learned in Brazil of helping people come into Christ quickly. I've done it in Dallas, Texas. I've done it in Seattle. And now I've done it in Los Angeles. And I'm taking that message around the world and helping people to come into Christ.
That's amazing. By the way, well, I want to say something about marketing and the Holy Ghost. I went on my mission from 92 to 94. I served in Salt Lake City. So it was a melting pot of missionaries. I've told this story so many times on my channel, but I wanted to relate to some things that you said. I remember reading somewhere, and even my missionary companions, we would talk about it. The missionary efforts of the church came to a transition at one time. They were using people in marketing and sales to change the missionary program. Those are principles and tenets that have been implemented in missionary work, I think, for the last 40 or 50 years, along with the Spirit.
There definitely are eternal principles. It's like when President Nelson always tells the story where he created this whole new way of treating people. And he's sitting there at a conference telling people about heart surgery. And he's like, if you change like these levels in the heart, you can operate on the heart. And someone said, what if it doesn't work? And President Nelson's response is very passionate. He yells to the guy, he's like, it will always work. It's an eternal principle.
It's an eternal principle.
And there are eternal principles in the world of advertising, in the world of marketing, that we can apply to the efforts of Christ, and it will move things forward faster.
Absolutely. I agree. What was the name of your channel? I keep looking. I'm trying to remember.
It's Missionary Universe.
Missionary Universe. That's right. And so I came
Marvel
across
Universe, but Missionary Universe.
I like your little icon. I like your avatar there, or whatever you call it.
So glad you like it. So some people like misunderstand it, but
no, it's not. When you say misunderstand, what do you mean? They got their conspiracy theories behind why you did it?
No, it's like, it was just last week I was at church and someone said, hey, and this guy, he's a great missionary. I love serving with this guy in my ward. He's like, your logo bugs me. And I told him, I said, the reason we have this logo is it's inspired by these heroes that we watch in movies. Ultimately, my goal is to reach the youth and to help the youth realize that the greatest hero they can be is a missionary. I want youth to think of missionaries the same way they think of Marvel superheroes. People always talk about missionary fire, but for me, I think the element that best describes not only my relationship with the Spirit, but also my excitement for this cause is lightning. And so I wanted that to come through in our logo, and I wanted the youth to see you can be this lightning force for good. After creating this logo, I found all these scriptures, like in D&C when it talks about the lightning of the Lord. And you see that whenever angels appear, their countenance is like lightning. And I realized, maybe the time of missionary fire has passed. Maybe it's time for some missionary lightning to speed things up. So that's the.
How much time do you have left?
I'm really enjoying this conversation, but
Okay,
I do have to go help the youth clean the.
No, I understand. I understand. Missionary Universe. So I came across you on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, another one. I started my channel. I've only got, 250 videos, but isn't it neat that the Lord trusts us going out in social media and on YouTube, and we're able to find things like you. So it's beautiful that you have this channel. The other thing is Ezra Taft Benson, the 80s. Ezra Taft Benson said the church was under condemnation for not reading the Book of Mormon. Do you think that's changed?
It's a fascinating question. I can tell you in my missionary efforts, it always starts the same. I go in and I invite my friends to set goals with God. If they're unwilling to set a goal for anxiety to be baptized, I invite them to set a goal to come to church. But I never set a goal without inviting them to read the Book of Mormon every day. just a couple of days ago. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, hey, when I set this goal, I handed him the third lesson. It's a picture of Jesus Christ being baptized. I said, hey, write down your goal, man. And he was writing it down, and he got kind of emotional a little bit. Spelled it, 4th of June. And it's little moments like that I'm like, that's why I do it. You know, it taps into that user experience, is setting this goal with God. He's planting this seed. You know, at the start of the lesson, he's like, man, why do I want to do this? Like, first I have to want to get baptized. I'm like, you're right. But in order for that desire to grow, first you need to plant a seed. So let's plant the seed. Let's set a goal with God and work towards that goal. You're going to read the scriptures. You're going to come to church. You're going to experience the gospel. I've seen among my friends who don't read the Book of Mormon as they progress towards their goal, they get closer to their baptism and they feel nervous, and they feel less of a desire to come to church. Whereas if they do read the Book of Mormon and they're reading consistently, as they get closer to their baptism, they get excited. It's the most amazing phenomenon, but it's an eternal principle.
Right.
As President Nelson would yell through the smack.
Said it's an eternal principle. And I remember when the prophet said that, my younger brother likes to say, truth is calculated to sustain itself, which is basically the same thing. And he kind of wears that phrase out a lot, but you can't really wear it out. But it's true. It's very true. Truth is calculated to sustain itself. Like the prophet said, it's got to work because it's true. It's a true principle.
Exactly.
And we live in a world where people are trying to morph truth. They like to use phrases like, this is my truth. This is find your truth. Well, then there's the truth. But yeah, this is, we're going to have to do this again sometime.